So inside of today's video, we're going to be talking about a recroom message that you can't find anywhere else but this video on my channel. And we're going to be talking about some Recroom Studio updates that are happening as well. So stay tuned, strap in, and let's talk about all the new Recroom stuff that's happening today. Renix is upside down now, and if we don't already have new featured rooms, we're going to be getting featured rooms pretty soon. Before we actually do get started, I made a video with a friend of mine called IRONGUYS. He's another Recroom YouTuber, and we rated people's shorts. It's a really good video, and if you guys want to see some content of me that is just not news, then of course feel free to check out IRONGUYS' video. Now there was an announcement from Recroom talking about as a part of their phased rollout, 50% of eligible creators now have access to Recroom Studio. And Recroom is doubling the numbers of creators who can publish their room creations using Recroom Studio. There will now be this message on Creator Hub if you guys are interested saying we're rolling out access to Recroom Studio in stages. Click the button below to check if you have access. You'll be able to check if you have access, and access requires a player level of 20 or higher and no recent negative moderation actions in the past 3 months. And there was even a creator forum about this Recroom Studio change too, coming from Ryu, a Recroom employee. In this little announcement, they basically talk about how 50% of eligible creators now have access to Recroom Studio publishing, and there's this new check my access button in Recroom Studio, and this button gives you a clear real-time update on whether or not you have full published access, no guesswork required. They go on to say what's next, and Recroom does confirm that they're gradually rolling out access in stages to be able to manage the experience for all. Their goal is to have full access out to all eligible creators over the next few weeks, so keep your eyes peeled for updates to this announcement soon. If you're not eligible yet though, don't worry. You can still download Recroom Studio today to check out the tools and get started on your projects. And when your access is activated, you'll be ready to publish and share your creations with the Recroom community. Recroom had this little announcement post talking about speed up your circuit creation with the new Maker Pen using the new Smart Suggestions feature. And we get this little message from Rio saying, in a previous post we mentioned a new Smart Suggestion feature that we are working on to speed up circuit creation. We're bringing a similar system into the Recroom app that can be used with the Maker Pen. To use Smart Circuit Suggestions, use the Connect tool to select and drag out from the desired port on the circuit. Hold the Select tool in an empty space for a few seconds to spawn the Smart Circuit menu. And for right now, the Smart Circuit menu will recommend circuits that you've recently used. You can scroll through the options without releasing the selection, and once you've figured out the circuit you need, you can select it from the list to spawn it. If you don't want any recently used circuits, you can instead quickly use the search bar for what you need. We're continuing to look into improvements to your circuits workflow, and please let us know what quality of life changes you're most interested in this forum post. Anyways, we got this new Recroom update, the Road to Rooms 2 edition, and TLDR, Rooms 2.0 has some serious updates, with new tools for managing your hierarchies and objects faster and easier. There's also more additions to ranged weapons, and they expanded Recroom Studio access to more eligible creators. Now inside of Rooms 2.0, they basically added a few new menus to help with managing object hierarchies in Rooms 2. They have this Connect widget, where selecting a non-circuit object, a connection icon will appear on the right side of the selection, or below if the selection is large. They also have the Object widget as well, feel free to read if you guys are interested. There's also new shapes that can now exist directly at room level or within gizmos, eliminating the need for automatic container creation. They also added some new features that allow you to control if the room is edit ready or ready for creations, and rooms will now load as edit ready for creators by default, and you can specify how you want edit ready rooms to load for other players in your subroom settings, and you can also visit this room page to know if your current room instance is edit ready. You're now also able to save up to 50 updates to Rooms 2 inventions. While you have Maker Pen selection, you can use the Save Invention update in the Quick Action menu to add a new version to the existing invention. You can use this version dropdown on the invention details page to pick up which version you want to spawn. There's also now a limit of 150 replicator copies that can be pre-allocated across all replicators in a room to prevent loading timeouts. You can now mark your custom object properties as synchronized so everyone in the room sees the name value for the property. Enable pivot select and disable pivot selection options now affect the Maker Pen drag select. Now there's new objects spawn with no longer be grabbable by default, and now the unsaved animation controller animating in a loop will continue when another player joins the room. The replicated objects will no longer pop to the origin when reset, and fix an issue where a replicator created through cloning or invention wouldn't properly replicate its circuits. They also fix an issue where deleting objects in advanced creation mode would create problems with the hierarchy menu. And lastly, they fixed an issue where you couldn't recolor certain shapes. Now for Recroom Studio, we talked about them expanding about to 50% of eligible creators now, and they improved inspector performance when studio functions are super lengthy. Changing the target of a studio function instruction will now preserve the method and arguments even when the previous target had been destroyed. They're also adding new instructions to the studio function, which will now duplicate the content of the previous instruction. And lastly, they added more base settings in Rec Room Studio for objects in Rooms 1 room. Now for ranged weapons, they added new config options to ranged weapon props, and not all weapons have support for these options, like infinite ammo, use ammunition magazine. There's also a whole bunch of other chips that are now into beta as well. They're similar to the new config options, but only work on certain weapons, as you guys can see. Now for general improvements and bug fixes, they added a smart suggestion feature to circuits. We talked about that inside today's video. They also added a subroom level toggle to enable/disable beacons. Inventions that were saved with room position from the dorm can now be spawned at the same world position in any room. They fixed a bug where a rare timing issue has causing all object boards in a room instance to become destroyed. They also fixed a soft lock issue when opening the watch door from the navigation bar, fixed an issue with aim assist support in UGC rooms from provided weapons. They localized text files for the new data token on room cards, and player boards will now clear values off of all output ports when they are bound to a player. And lastly, they fixed a logout issue. And for all the split test inside this update, they go on to say, we're trying out some upgrades to melee weapons on screens to make them more reliable, consistent, and fun. They remove slowdown while charging an attack, just like swing handle and VR, and reduce movement boost while executing charged attacks. Charged attack input is faster in most cases, repeated attack inputs are more reliable to chain together, and can now hold wave button with a sword to block attacks. So it's now possible to do while dual wielding for all controls. Third person swing is a lot more accurate to the reticle/nearby enemies, and lastly, third person screen shake is reduced since the added camera distance exaggerates a lot. Let me know your guys' thoughts. It seems like it was really focused towards builders and circuits and all that crap today, but I want to know what you guys think as well. Now, I had actually gotten a message from Rec Room talking about the weekly storefronts inside the actual rec center, and this is an official message from Rec Room that you can't get anywhere else other than this actual video. It goes on to talk about storefronts in the rec center lasting longer than 1 week, and Rec Room does confirm that right now Rec Room is experimenting with how they're presenting items in the store, both ours and avatar items made by the community, and we want to make sure our creators' items are easily found by players and have a chance to gain traction. This is part of our plan to ensure creators can support themselves in Rec Room. How long with their items will stay on the storefront can vary, but typically 4 to 6 weeks for some limited time items. The carousel orders will change regularly, so different items will have a chance to be in the spotlight, but this is not a permanent change. They're trying to find a sweet spot between discoverability and opportunity for our creators, so expect storefront timing that may change again. They also go on to talk about quest item rewards, and Rec Room goes on to say recently they added consumable rewards for completing quests, and if you already have all quest avatar items, we are watching the community sentiment to see if this is a change our questers will enjoy. Honestly, in my opinion, news is going to slow down because of this, because I mean there's no new storefronts to talk about. I just hope that the new storefronts that do come out are a little bit higher quality and have better cool things inside of them. But I guess we'll just kind of wait and see, huh? In other news, we have a few bugs to talk about, and I've covered this bug before, but it's basically the whole player in your dorm room bug. But this one's super weird. It's a full body avatar that's inside your dorm room, which isn't the weird part about it, but this full body avatar is like distorted. Their arms are super long. They really are just like shaking everywhere. It's a really bugged out version of this bug that I've covered before. It literally looks insane. Like, what is going on inside this video? For real. Massive credits to the Reddit owner, but Jesus Christ. Now, it's also been brought to my attention that deleting everything with the maker pen inside a Rec Room is sometimes breaks your game. Some people aren't even allowed to save their rooms or can't go to the this room option inside the tab menu. You can't spawn certain items. You can only spawn like shapes in CV1 apparently, and this only happens sometimes. Have you guys experienced this bug before? Be sure to let me know your guys' thoughts, because Rec Room watches these videos and they might see your guys' actual complaints. Hey, welcome to the break in the video. If you don't know already, I have some pretty amazing people to shout out, and let's get started. We have Scotia, Mini Hat, Hank, Jollytron, Zipical, Data, Joey, Maddox, Mr. Bro 90, Wirt, Bonds VR, G Milkman, It's Bear, Able Color, Smash Productions, Toms, Mr. RFYW, Hey Ray VR, Shoida Says, Go Does VR, Brock Live, Dashy, Agent Coco, Dars, Dex Storms, True Trippy Blur, Ondog, Jacob Tupa, Astro Boy Vamp, Old Ticket, Sven, Semja 9, Daytrix, DJI Core, Consendo VR, Kai, JB, Only Joey, Cuttlefish, Jelly the Coolest Guy, Jax, Names Unlisted, Weird Guy, Monk the Goober, Villas Art, Erico VR, TK Cop, Cats, Sire, Cam VR, I Am Kickin' Skythe, Kobe Fan 76, Not the Pup, Kitty Kea, Dude, Nolan, Dragon Boy, Garlic Bread, It's Ready RR, Dozer, BB, Birding Owl, Raphael, Netflix 69, and of course, Box David. There are so many god dang members. It's insane. You guys are gonna make my poster guy S Plus Maniac have a heart attack, but thank you guys for all the love and support, and massive shout out to Dex Storms for giving away all these actual memberships and stuff. That's pretty much it, and let's get back to the video now. I guess. At the moment, that's pretty much all the actual Rec Room news we have. If you guys haven't had your daily dose of Rec Room news though, check out my other videos where I talked about other new things that are happening inside a Rec Room. It'd mean a lot to me. And of course, people, I'll catch you inside the next video. Peace out.